Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance is out this week. Reviews are live as of yesterday or today. If you're watching this on Patreon, you get to watch my videos a day early if you donate even just a single dollar to my Patreon, by the way. Or maybe you're watching this in the year 2036 and you just have a really big interest in a game that released 12 years ago. I don't know. How's SMT 7? Was that one any good? I hope it is. Anyway, I got my hands on the Nintendo Switch version of the game. It's not the version that I want to play, so as a result, this is not a full review, and honestly, I haven't really played that much of it. The reason why I have been playing it is mostly because I'm acting as supplemental stuff for Game Explain. My buddy Katana Riku, he's doing the actual review for the game. Go watch his review. I'm sure it's stellar. But in the meantime, since I was doing some supplemental stuff, I thought, hey, let me give some just basic impressions over here, because I will play it enough to actually have impressions, but not enough to really do an actual review. I want to play the PS5 version for that. So, let's talk about my impressions. Since I haven't really had enough time with the game to really say whether or not the new story is good or bad, what I will say is it feels so far like a much better retelling of base SMT 5. The way the game starts off is virtually the same. You don't really see any differences, and even once you do start to see differences, nothing of real consequence shows up or happens until you really get back to Tokyo. Once you get back to Tokyo after exploring the first area, which if you played SMT 5, you know it takes like 5 to 10 hours depending on how much side stuff you do. That first area is massive. You really don't have a lot of story there. But up until you get back to Tokyo, it's mostly the same. However, that doesn't mean there isn't anything new or different. For instance, once you actually go and meet Atsuta about a quarter of the way through the area, you meet him at a train station, or like a train car, not train station, car. You end up getting attacked by one of the new demons. It's called like a Glacius Labolus or something like that. I don't know. You get attacked by it, and then the new waifu Yoko shows up. And then from that point on, you actually get to explore the rest of the area with Yoko. And I'll get into her in a minute, but that's a pretty, overall, things are kind of the same, but there are differences there. The first real new piece of story content doesn't happen until towards the end of the area, where you get your first exposure with the Kadishtu. You get attacked by Nama, and you have a pretty interesting, pretty cool boss fight that, Kadishtu, they're sexy pants and stuff. Anyway, I'm really interested to see where this goes. I haven't really had too much exposure to what the Kadishtu want or what they're planning on doing, but I do want to see where this is going. What I have experienced so far is interesting, and I can totally see how what they're doing is going to cause things to kind of go off the rails and go in this new direction. But again, you don't really start to see a lot of that new direction until you get back to Tokyo. Some things happen that I don't want to spoil because they actually kind of caught me off guard, and it's interesting. It's really interesting to see where this new plot is going to be going, while also still reusing a lot of the same elements of the original. Some things stay the same, some things stay different. I won't say what those things are because, like I said, it actually kind of got me in the moment, so I would hope that you people would also be able to enjoy it. Now, the new girl, Yoko Hiramine. Honestly, she slots into the cast pretty naturally so far. Unlike a lot of the past new version waifus, she doesn't stick out like a sore thumb, and instead she feels almost like a missing part of this cast. If I remember correctly, I think the director of the game talked about how she actually was originally supposed to be in SMT 5, but she got cut for one reason or another. So maybe that would explain it, because she actually feels kind of thought out, and it feels like a very nice complement to a lot of the themes and the lore that was already in the base game. So far, I don't know too much about Yoko, but what I can very clearly tell is she is a parallel to Tao. She's much more cynical. She is Tao's foil. She offers more cynical yet understandable options to situations. Even if she does come off edgy at times, it doesn't really disrupt the mood at all. I like her, and I'm liking how they're using her. She doesn't feel intrusive in any way or antithetical to what a lot of the game was doing. If anything, it feels very natural and almost synergetic with what the original game and the original plot was trying to do. As for the gameplay, combat is still top tier. The press turn system is goated, and it always will be. I am so excited to see what Metaphor does with it. This game, however, it's going to be hard to top, so Metaphor has to do a really good job. Probably my favorite new combat mechanic is the innate skills. They add a new element to factor in when you're creating a party. For instance, some demons can increase your attack or agility, but only for the demons that act after that one. So say you get a demon that like raises your attack or whatever, and it only does it for the ones afterwards. Any demon that came before it, it's not gonna work. So you would want to clearly place that demon to go first at the start of your party. It reminds me of like a card game. It's the closest thing that I can compare it to, at least. It's like swapping out your 4 active cards with the ones in your hand to best handle the situation you find yourself in. I think this is a genius addition. I really hope it sticks around in the future, much like elemental affinities and that kind of thing. This feels like something that could go a long way in making each demon really feel unique and feel important, and that they deliver some bonus. It can honestly offer buffs or nerfs to demons depending on, you know, hey, this demon is really strong for this part of the game or whatever. Like, it can actually help balance things. I don't know, I really, really love this innate skill mechanic. Another thing I hope sticks around are demon haunts, which is basically a place that you can go to hang out and chill with your demons and whatever guest party members you have at the time, occasionally getting items from them or them getting additional skill points depending on, you know, what you've done with them. I think demon haunts, at least so far, feel a little underbaked. Not in the sense that I think this idea wasn't thought through, but rather I wish there was more stuff to do in them. I think the concept is actually really solid. It just doesn't feel like it goes far enough in really letting you like get to know your demons and interact with them in unique ways. So hopefully this is a mechanic that is able to stick around in a future game, whether it be SMT 6 or some other spinoff, because I want to see what more they could do with this. I just think it's a cool idea. It's a cool idea. Plus, it also offers additional moments of character development or characterization for the cast members that, you know, didn't get any in the original game. For instance, Aogami, he gets a lot of characterization here. He definitely benefits the most from this location. Going back to the level design, Magatsu rails, I really, really like Magatsu rails. They are basically like this roller coaster that you can just find in the world, whether they be hidden and you have to use a navigator to actually dig it up, or it's just something that's already in the world and you just have to find it. I think they're pretty cool, and there's actually way more of them than I thought there was going to be. They really make these areas feel bigger, and the key words are feel bigger. They don't overhaul the level design. It's mostly just little spots that are hidden with like a side quest demon, some kind of secret item or whatever, or it's like actually like, you know, a block, an area that you can just kind of run around and explore, and it's like, oh, I saw this in the original game, I just couldn't go here, but now I can. It's really neat to me that I'm able to go back into these areas that I thoroughly explored. I 100% of the original game all that time ago. I know these areas like the back of my hand. There's nothing new here. Magatsu rails, as well as a couple of other things, really make them feel like, oh, I have a reason to go and explore them. And it's not just, oh, there's like a new item you can get. It's like, no, there's a new area to see. There's something new here. There's a new side quest. There's a new demon. There's something here that rewards me and makes me feel like, oh, I didn't know this was here. That's cool. Consecutive battles, I'm honestly surprised this wasn't here in the base game. Consecutive battles have been a thing for a hot minute in SMT, and I don't know I don't think there was anything in the original SMT 5 that would have prevented them from doing it. I guess it's just another one of those things that just got cut. One thing I will say, it seems to be dependent on a number of factors, but is ultimately still random. The main thing that I've noticed is that there needs to be more than one enemy around you when you initiate a battle. So if you get jumped by a bunch of like slimes, there's that sequence early in the game where you can get jumped by a bunch of slimes. There you can get jumped and you can get into consecutive battles, but it's not like you're gonna be having 5 consecutive battles because you got jumped by 5 slimes. It's like, oh, you'll get 2, maybe 3, and then you stop. You stop. And it's kind of random whether or not it keeps going or not. I don't know, it's something that's definitely taking some getting used to. Piece of advice, by the way, something I noticed is that Magasuhi skills, particularly Omogatoki critical, those carry over into subsequent battles. I had a consecutive battle where the final turn of the first one, I used critical and then just wiped out the enemy before I wasted all my turn. And then the next battle started, and then I restarted the turn, but critical was still active. So do with that information what you will. Guest party members, that's probably, aside from innate skills and like a couple of other things, guest party members are probably the biggest new addition to SMT 5-5. In this game, they play very similarly to how human party members in like SMT 1, 2, and IF played. Humans acted more like more powerful yet less customizable demons. They would slot into your party in the place of your demons. You couldn't really do anything with them, but they were really, really good, and they would level up and they would get new moves. However, while they do act the same way here, there's a much greater sense of transitoriness. They're only here for a little bit. Yoko, when she joins you in the first area, she leaves once you get back to Tokyo. You only go so far with her. While in SMT 1, 2, and IF, typically there would be at least one consistent human party member throughout the entire game, depending on what route you went on. Here, everyone will only join you for a little bit before they just bow out of your party. Sometimes they'll come back into your party, other times they might not come back. I don't know. I haven't finished the game, but they're guests. They're guests. They are not permanent. So it's not like you can just replace all of your demons with guest party members. The last two things I want to talk about are the audio and the Switch performance. First off, music's still amazing. I love all the new tracks so far. People say like, oh, SMT5 to me the audio, the music, it just felt so soulless. And it's like, I don't agree. I understand it's very different from what Kozuka did in SMT4, where SMT4 was much more electronic and this is much more like choir, bombastic, organ type stuff. I get it's different, but I just listened to this. I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't understand how you think this is soulless. This music is so good. But whatever, that's what they think. Here's what I think. Music's good, new music is still great. Ippon Datora still sounds fucking horrifying, by the way, so don't worry, he's still gonna be screaming in pain at the top of your lungs as he chases after you with his one foot. The other thing, Nintendo Switch performance. If you play the original SMT5, you know the performance on that is consistently inconsistent. Let's put it that way. Now for Vengeance on Switch, with all its new additions, you might think it runs worse. And good news, it doesn't run worse. It runs exactly the same. There might be some slight improvements, like, better loading, or, maybe the frame rate doesn't drop as much as it originally did. But from what I can tell, it is just exactly the same. This is why I am waiting to play it on the PS5. I think it's totally playable. If you are like dead set on playing it on the Switch, or it's your only option, SMT 5-5 on the Nintendo Switch I think is perfectly playable. However, if you have the option, I would say consider playing it on PC or PS5 or Xbox or just anything else. Not because it's not playable, but because I can just look at it and tell this is going to feel better. Of course, it is a turn-based RPG, frame rate's not going to matter a ton in it, but it is a game with a lot of exploration and running around, and there's a lot of stuff going on, and just that part of the game, which is almost equally as important, it feels rough. It feels rough, and I would much rather feel good while running around and exploring, So that's why I'm waiting for the PS5 version. And once I do get that PS5 version, I'm gonna play it, I'm gonna review it, come back here for my full thoughts. I might even do a separate video where I talk about the story and how the new story in Vengeance complements and like bounces off of the original and how it works and what I think it does right and does wrong, and I don't know, who knows? We'll find out next time on Dragon Ball Z. But what do you think about Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance? Just based on all the reviews, or maybe you've already played the game and you just want to see what some other people think. What do you think? Let me know down in the comments below. While you're there, leave a like, subscribe, and hit the bell to be notified of any future uploads. Like I said, I'm going to be doing a review of SMT 5, an actual proper review, so stick around for that. If you want to get my videos a day early, check out my Patreon. Like I said before, for as little as $1, get all my videos a day early. Pretty nice. Go check it out. I really appreciate it. Supports the channel directly. Great stuff. Anyway, I'm gonna go edit this thing because it is 10:41 on Tuesday. I am editing this late at night and I need to get this done. I hope you'll understand any editing errors because I am tired and it's kind of hot in this room. Man, I just really want to play SMT 5 Five.